On parallel and perpendicular lines. So we're going to get some vocabulary done today that we're going to be using all chapter. Okay, so this is going to be new to you, most likely. We're going to start by talking about the word transversal, okay, which in this picture is the pink line. Okay, it's a line that intersects two coplanar lines at two distinct points. So we have the two greenish lines, and the transversal, the pink one, is cutting through both of them, intersecting both of them. Okay? Take a guess at what the interior angles on this picture are. Yes.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Yep. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, why did you pick those?
Because they're on the inside of the two lines.
Yes. Okay, they're on the inside of the two lines. What about the exterior? What does that leave?
1, 2, 7, 8.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to be using that idea down below when we're learning our new vocab words. So we're going to be looking at these 4 types of angles all chapter long. You're going to have to get very familiar with them and what they look like on a picture. So I have 2 images here that we're going to draw from just to write some examples. We're not going to write all the angle pairs, okay? But these are all pairs of angles. We're going to start with alternate interior, okay? These bottom 3, the vocab, the actual name of the pairs of angles tell you where to look. So we want to pick alternate interior angles. Somebody give me a guess on what 2 angles would be considered alternate interior. Really good guess, 11 and 13. Not exactly, but it's very close. Yes.
3 and 4.
Another good guess, but incorrect, 3 and 4. Yes?
3 and 6.
3 and 6 is one pair of alternate interior angles. So look at where 3 and 6 are. Okay. Now, the last guess was 3 and 4.
4 and 5.
Okay. Why is 3 and 4 wrong, but 3 and 6 is right?
Next to each other.
We need to pick one angle from this group and one angle from the other group. We can't pick 2 angles from the same circle.
So the other one.
Okay. So 5 and 4 would also work. Give me one from the bottom picture.
11 and 14.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so alternate interior. What are they talking about with the word alternate? Yes.
Like in like different sections of the angles.
Okay.
But they're
Different sections of the angles. Kind of.
different lines.
What?
On different lines.
They're on different lines, one from line A and one from line B. But what do they mean by alternate? Yes. Okay, if they're parallel, and we'll get to that in an upcoming section, they're equal to each other, okay, if they're parallel, like 3 and 6. But the first guess, I believe, was 11 and 13. Those aren't alternate interior. So why are we saying 3 and 6, but not 3 and 5?
They're on other different sides of the transversal.
They're on
Alternate
sides of the transversal. Good. Okay, what about alternate exterior? Give me some examples in that category.
1 and 8.
1 and 8 would be good. Give me one from the bottom one.
9 and 16.
Okay. There are more. We're not going to list them all. Okay, but those also need to be on alternate sides of the transversal and on the exterior portion of the picture. Okay. What about consecutive interior? What does consecutive mean?
On the consecutive side of one after another.
One right after another. That's what consecutive means. Okay. So what would be a guess on consecutive interior angles? Making sure we pick one from each circle.
11,
Either.
13.
Okay, 11 and 13. What's one from the top picture?
4 and 6.
4 and 6. Okay, so those need to be on the same side of the transversal, not the alternate side. All right, the last one, corresponding, doesn't tell us where to look. So I'm going to give you one example. We're going to see if we can figure out what the rule of thumb is for this one. We'll do angle 8 and angle 4. Look at where those are located. 2 and 6 would also work. Give me one from the bottom picture.
9 and 13.
9 and 13.
11 and 15.
So what are we doing here? That's the question. How could you describe it?
Taking one from the exterior and one from the interior that are on like the same side of the transversal.
Okay, so one exterior, one interior on the same side of the transversal. I agree with you, but it's kind of a long description. How could we shorten it up or summarize it?
Take them from the same side. They're like the same angle.
I like your train of thought, the same angle.
They're in the same spot.
They're in the same spot, the same corner. Okay, so you have a group of 4 angles in all of those circles. If you pick the upper left corner, you're going to pick the upper left corner in the other circle. Those are the corresponding angles. They're in the same position. Okay? Questions on those? All right, let's get the rest of the vocab for the chapter done. We've got parallel, perpendicular, and skew. So parallel and perpendicular you've seen before. On this image over here, you'll notice there's triangles pointing in the same direction. You cannot assume that lines are parallel just by looking at them and saying, well, they look like they'll never intersect. They have to have those symbols on there to say that they're parallel to each other. So let's put letters on here, A and B. Does anyone know the symbol we put in between to say that they're parallel?
Is it like a line right in the middle?
Nope, good guess though.
2 lines right in the middle?
We do 2 lines that look parallel that are slanted a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm probably going to be using that instead of writing the word parallel from here on out, just to shorten things up. So you're going to need to know that that symbol means parallel. But you need the triangles on the image in order to know that they're parallel to each other. Okay, never assume that they are just because they look like they are. Perpendicular. Okay, what symbol do we need for that on the picture? Yes.
Is it gonna be like, oh, a square?
It's a square in the corner, okay? So let's put W and Z on those 2 lines. What symbol goes in between the 2 for perpendicular? Not a cross. We actually saw it in a previous homework problem.
A square, but with lines extending from it.
Nope, good guess. It is an upside down capital T. Okay, so that's the symbol for perpendicular.
I was half right.
I'm probably going to be using this symbol for the word perpendicular instead of writing it out for the rest of the year. Okay, that'll shorten it up for you as well. So you have to know that the one up here is parallel. This one is the perpendicular symbol. Okay. All right, the last one, skew, is a new idea. So I'm going to use these markers. So sorry to those of you watching this on YouTube, you won't be able to see this part. But parallel, they're pointing it kind of in the same direction, like both pointing at the ceiling. Okay, and they're not going to ever intersect. Perpendicular, they intersect at a right angle. Let's go back to parallel. They're both pointing kind of in the same direction because they're on a flat surface together. They're on a plane. This is what skew looks like. If I turn one of these pens to be pointing at me, notice how they're still not intersecting, but they're not parallel because they're pointing in very different directions. This pen is pointing up and down, and this pen is pointing at me and at the back wall. Okay, so looking at this box right here, we want to pick 2 lines that are skew. There's not a symbol for skew, so we actually have to write it out. I'm going to pick the first one. So let's highlight this line right here. So AE is skew 2, and we'll get a few options. Okay, give me an option for a line that is skew to AE. BC is a great answer. Okay, so if you look here, notice they're not parallel, but they're definitely not going to intersect. What's another one? FH, I would agree with. You could write that one down, but I want you to think of one that's a little bit more different than that. GH would be a good one. Okay, that's the one back here. Okay, so again, there's no symbol. Question or answer? DC would be another good answer. Okay. Questions on the difference between those three vocab words?